or good afternoon or good evening, depends on where you are when you're watching this. So I was asked a few weeks ago to do an interview on Wicca for a lady's final essay. And I know I said a few weeks ago, and it's been a while since I've been able to get some time on my own, and I was never able to really sit down and type out complete answers. There's nearly 50 questions on the questionnaire. So what I have decided to do instead is to try to answer the questions as fully as I can on YouTube. I'm going to try to answer about 10 questions per subject, per segment. And I will read the questions first, and then I will answer them. And I'm actually going to be doing question number 1 and question number 2 together as one question because they are quite similar. So here we go. Okay, so question number 1. When did you start with Wicca, and was there a specific reason? Question number 2. What made you choose Wicca? Was it a friend or a family member? So, everybody has their own story. Most people were not born into the Wiccan religion as it is practiced today. For me, I was born and raised Catholic. Not very heavily raised. It was a very hands-off type of situation with my religious upbringing, but I was taken to church, and my grandparents were the ones that gave me as much religious material as I wanted, and I really did want a lot. I really did want to study the Catholic faith. I wanted to be a nun. Yeah. So I was interested in it. At one point, I had a friend who went to their first communion, and I was very interested in that because, like I said, I had a very hands-off religious upbringing, and I didn't even really know what a first communion was until she went through that. So I started asking my grandmother about it, and she gave me a book that was given to her when she started studying for her first communion. And this is a book designed for children. It had the logistics of what a first communion is, how to do a confession, for instance, and then it had a small question and answer section at the back of the book. And some of the material that I had read was a little unnerving to me, but I figured I was young, I didn't fully understand. I'll understand when I start getting into it, getting further into it. But there was one question that sort of pushed me over the edge. And the question was, how can God, one God, be the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, or the Holy Dove, all at once, all three separate entities, and still be a single God? And the answer was, we don't know. We don't ask questions like that. So that was a big problem for me. It's actually a big problem for a lot of Wiccans, is blind faith. Don't ask questions. Do as you're told. Believe what I say, or something very bad is going to happen to you in the Catholic faith. That's, going to hell or going to purgatory. And it didn't work for me. And also, like I was saying, a lot of what I started reading, it seemed almost anti-faithful to me. So at that point, I decided just to keep my eyes open, not to really actively search, but to keep my eyes open for something else, something that I could put my whole heart and my whole faith into. I think for a while I still prayed, every night, but it wasn't really to the Catholic God. It was specifically to Mary, and what I was doing at the time, and I didn't realize it really, was trying to communicate with the goddess of my choosing, or of her choosing. And that's really what I was searching for, something a little bit more personal, something that didn't require an intermediary, you know. So I was 16, I believe, and I was in my older sister's room, and I was doing what little sisters are not supposed to do, and I was sniffing around, and I found a book underneath her bed. It was from Scott Cunningham, and it was called Wicca, A Guide to the Solitary Practitioner. And at the time I wanted to be a nurse, so I read the word practitioner, and that's the only word that I saw, and I thought it had something to do with nursing or doctors or some type of medical profession. So I opened it up and very quickly realized that that's not what it was talking about, but it was talking about something so much greater. And I could feel spirits watching me as I read it. It was a very unnerving, very overpowering feeling, and also a very exhilarating feeling at the same time. And I had left the room to use the bathroom. Made sure everything was wide open, because that's how it was when I left, and I didn't want my sister to come back and notice things changed. And so when I got back, the doors were shut, and that was like creepy. You know, just something, whatever spirit was there guiding me at the time, trying to tell me that you need to pay attention to this. And I had my first self-initiation about a year after that, and I never looked back since. Okay, so the third question. What do you think it means to be a Wiccan? What it means to be a Wiccan is to pay attention, really. Wicca teaches us that nature is divine. You can find God in everything in nature, from the rock to the carrot that you eat, to the sun, you know, to the birds that fly across the air. What it means to be Wiccan is to be observant, to be calm in the face of terrible changes, terrible or great changes. You know, because the seasonal changes are great, and most people don't realize that. Most people will look up sometime before, before Halloween, and realize that all of the leaves have turned brown, you know, and they don't know when that happened. For a Wiccan, you can look it up in the middle of summer and see the yellowest, tiny yellow tinge at the ends of the leaves, and know, it's starting, you know. And you can take a moment in your life that would be so frightening to most people, old age for instance, and say, yes, I've made it. I am a crone. I am wise. You know, I am as the goddess. You know? Or, you know, even the stretch marks on my belly. You know, I am a mother. I am a tiger that has earned my stripes. You know, that is something that only mothers have. And so, to me, that's a big part of it, what it means to be a Wiccan. But on the other hand, there's a lot that simply can't be described. And I think that's the way that it is with most religions, especially with somebody that is truly into their religion, for lack of a better word. Okay, so number 5, what has your experience with Wicca been? It's always been positive. I've never had any bad experiences. I have had several visions with angels, and those have always been quite profound. It's like I said, it's taught me to be more observant, try to be calmer. it's given me an avenue to improve myself, and there are things that I still need to improve. So number 6 is what is your personal view on Wicca? Do you think it's a religion? Like any religion, like a Buddhist religion, like a Jewish religion, like the Catholic religion. It is, okay, well, what is a religion? A religion is a series of doctrines that you attempt to live your life in abidance with. And you try to be a good person. So, what is Wicca? It's a religion. It teaches you to try to be a good person. We have our golden reed, I guess you would call it. Harming none, do what you will, and that gives you a lot of power. It gives you a lot of freedom to seek out that which will make you happy. And that's it. That's a good thing. That's a good thing about it. So, number 7, what is your personal view on what Wicca is absolutely not? Evil. There's a lot of people that still think that that Wiccans follow the devil, And I actually heard a pretty good one a little while ago. It says, they said accusing a Wiccan of worshipping the devil is like accusing an atheist of believing in God. It doesn't work. It doesn't cross. Wiccans don't believe in the devil. The devil is a Christian, is part of the Christian mythos, and we choose not to subscribe to that. We can adopt the gods and goddesses and beings of power from other religions, but the problem with the devil is that he's an absolute. Now, in nature there are no absolutes, there are no black and white. Therefore, there are no absolutes or black and whites in the Wiccan religion. Every deity has something good about them, every deity has something bad about them, or which is common bad. So that's one thing that Wicca certainly isn't. It's not evil. And number 8, what sort of magic do you pursue? I like anything tactile. I'm very, very hands oriented. Even visually, just the look of salt strewn in a circle up around the altar. It's very pleasing to me. Something that I can, seems like it almost can reach out and touch. Also, I'm very fond of candles. I always have been, and wind chime too. And I think that has something to do also with the tactile nature of light and the way that when light dances or goes through crystals, that you can almost reach out and touch them. Actually, I think I'm going to stop there. I know that's only question 8, but I don't want to go over the 15-minute time limit, so I will see you again in part 2.